And we're live.
And we're live. So, hey everyone, this is Logan from Cigar Federation. Thanks for joining us for this special broadcast. I know we're kind of mixing it up tonight, but we have something very, very cool and special planned. We have a lot of hosts we'll go through, or a lot of well, I guess they're not really hosts. We have two guests and then one co-host. But wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing tonight. Seth and I recently just got back from Cigar Safari, and if you've read the first article that I wrote, had a very hard time putting into words how amazing the experience was. So this show, we wanted to invite on our two special guests from Drew Estate, and for Seth and I to kind of go through, about it, allow you to ask questions. We'll give away some cigars, and just kind of have a kickin' bitchin' time, I guess. So with that, Seth, what's happening, brother? How's the Big Tuna doing?
Big Tuna is doing well. I should say that we will have two more guests, Pedro Gomez and Henry Pineda. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. We'll ask him. But they're going to be joining a little bit later in about 45 minutes. They have a dinner with some people down in Esteli, but they're going to be joining. So
he's giving out all the Tona. He's giving out the Tona on the bus right now.
He's giving out the Tona on the bus, but we'll have two more. I'm Seth, Seth Geist, Seth's Humidor, and I also wrote a couple articles. They're on my website, sethshumidor.com, about the trip, which was truly incredible. But let's introduce our guests. We're not going to go in order. We're just going to start with Sam Morales, or Sam Morals, as they say
Sam
in Georgia.
Morals, as they're well known.
What's going on, guys? I'm Sam. I work in the marketing department here at Drew Estate, and I'm going to pass it off to Mario, my boss, so I'm also going to try not to get in trouble on this trip.
Maybe you do a translation for me, maybe.
Okay.
My English so bad.
All right, so that was Mario that was the head honcho around here. Mario leads both the marketing and the IT team here at Drew Estate. So he's a pretty big dude. And we're both
tiny.
Yeah. Well, in person, very tiny. So we're both pretty excited to be on here with Seth and Logan. I had a blast with both Seth and Logan at the Cigar Safari. I would argue that I probably hung out with you guys more than I hung out with anybody else on the trip. I mean, the stories that we got to tell each other, the different trouble that we got in along the way, was pretty memorable.
It's good. It was a great time.
Yeah.
So Mario, now really quick, Mario, before Drew Estate.
Yes.
You were doing some online media with Dan Reeves.
Yes, for Cigar Explorer.
Yeah.
That's my pet project that time.
It was your pet project at the time. I remember because I was following you guys, and the next thing you know, you guys were gone, and then you're at Drew Estate, and Dan Reeves doing Cigar Press with Thor, and it's like, there they go.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So, well, good deal, and we'll introduce Pedro and Henry when they join the call, and whoever else is with them. But we were going to talk about Cigar Safari, and what is Cigar Safari? And I've always known Cigar Safari is a wonderful opportunity that Drew Estate offers to consumers, retailers, and other members of the industry. As an opportunity to go down and really see Nicaragua, experience the country, and experience Drew Estate, Olla de Nicaragua, and other factories. That's a pretty quick way to sum it up. And they also offered a media trip this year. I know they've offered media trips in the past. It's a really terrific experience, I can tell you that much, and it's an opportunity of a lifetime, and it's wonderful to see the Drew Estate facilities and see how everything is. And now that they have DE2 completed, it's really a whole new game. Logan, what would you have to say about Cigar Safari?
Cigar Safari, to me, I would compare it to being, if you're a cigar nerd, compare it to being kind of that young fat kid that wants to get in the cookie jar. And what I mean by that is like, you always want to reach for the cookie, and going down to Cigar Safari, just kind of opening up the kimono, being able to see truly kind of seed to smoke, getting to hang out with the people at Drew Estate, getting to see the rolling floor, where they process tobacco, where they store tobacco. I mean, just like I said, seed to smoke is just, it's an eye-opening experience, and until you truly have seen the process from end to end, you really don't appreciate cigars. Because if you think it's just something simple and, you know, oh, this cigar is like $10 or $9, it's overpriced, you're fucking crazy. When you see how many people's hands touch and how many people are involved with it, it's crazy. So, I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, that's my high-level thoughts. And, of course, you know, I liked skinny dipping in the Drew Estate pool at night. Nobody caught me, but that's neither here or there. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I would have got shot by the guards. I was like, friendly fire, same team, same team.
They were thorough guards. I almost gave him a naked bear hug when I came out of the bathroom at 3 in the morning when he was standing there with a shotgun. So he quickly just turned away, though. He had no interest in that. So, Sam, how many cigar safari trips have you gone on with Drew Estate?
I think this is now my third.
Your third.
Third was with you guys. So I did my first one in January, and I was on the plane ready to come back to the United States after like being there for about a week.
You are stuck.
And all of a sudden, Jonathan goes like, you know, hey, you got to get off the plane. And I mean, my bags were on there. I mean, everything was going on. So I ended up staying down in Nicaragua for like a solid month, which is great because, you know, I got to work on my Spanish, you know, a lot. But the third, I could say, probably, you know, a little bit to talk about what you guys had said in terms of what a cigar safari is and why we do it and what's the purpose. It's also to be a little bit more transparent. I think that's like a buzzword that a lot of people use. You know, you see it on TV nowadays, on the news, and transparency, and what does that really mean? And from this industry, I think we can pretty much all agree that some things are not very transparent at all. You know, a lot of the different ways that people roll tobacco or what they do with it, or how they do what they do, is not oftentimes how it's marketed. So Cigar Safari for us is also a way for us as a company to really show, you know, consumers and anybody who comes on the trip as our guests really how we do it. And then also I think you guys can testify that we're no hold bar when it comes to showing how other people do it too. We went to multiple factories. We didn't just do Drew. So
yeah.
But this year we did slightly different than past years.
correct.
So we did it from the seed to the final product. So you can see whole process that we're doing it. This is a unique experience that we have actually in the first time.
Correct.
So I hope that you enjoy it, you know.
It was incredible. I mean, I know I truly did. You know, I've never been down to Nicaragua, but it was wonderful just to really go in the fields and go through, you know, that pre-industry of DE2 with Nick Melillo and Drew and all of you guys, and then move to Drew Estate and see how it all goes. And it's, I mean, you know, it's you know, Logan says you really appreciate cigars when you go on this. I think the biggest thing is you really truly also begin to appreciate the people, especially, you know, these Drew Estate employees, and the tobacco itself. Because the amount of individuals that we came across and we met and we spoke with was just wonderful. And you have Drew Estate's got some terrific people working for him. Henry was on this call for about 5 seconds and then he just left. So it looked like he was in Subculture Studios and then he was gone for a second. But
well, let me say something about Nick real quick. For those that don't know Nick, Nick is probably one of the coolest people in the cigar industry. And the reason he's so cool is he's traveled all around the world, but one of his special qualities is he can actually see the future. And I'm not kidding either. We were out actually playing dominoes. I was watching old Sam Morrils over here get absolutely crushed. Him and Willie get crushed by Brooke and Nick. And
double sixes. Wasn't real dominoes.
they're true. But you guys made an epic comeback. But during that comeback, Nick whipped out his phone and started holding it up to the sky. I go, what the hell is that? And he's like, dude, it's a map of the stars, like astrology and shit. I'm like, all right. And he goes, dude, you know what that is? I go, I don't know, a planet. I have no idea. He goes, yeah, Mars. It's Mars. And I said, okay. And he goes, Mars is going to be behind the moon tomorrow. And this is either Monday. I think this was Monday night. And he goes, in like 2 days or in a day, we're going to have an earthquake. And I said, no fucking way. There's no way you're going to have an earthquake. And lo and behold, we left on a Wednesday. On Thursday, there was, what was it, a 6.2 or a 5.7 or whatever earthquake. So needless to say, if you ever need to figure out the numbers for a winning lottery ticket, just talk to Nick, and he will hook you up.
Or how to avoid earthquakes.
What?
Or how to avoid earthquakes.
Or how to avoid earthquakes. Exactly. I mean, either way. But yeah, no, Nick's super cool. Anyways, that's my fun story. Continue, Seth.
Yeah, I mean the other thing the first thing I was going to ask is because I'm sure we have a lot of viewers who are probably like, man, probably going to Cigar Safari website and they're probably interested about how they go. They have to grow up in teams. They go with like the retailers. I mean, do you guys know what's the best way if someone asks, how do we go on Cigar Safari, how they would do that?
Yeah, so I would recommend signing up on the Drew Estate mailing list. If that's something that you're very interested in doing, what we do is we tend to announce the Cigar Safari dates on Memorial Day. So that would be your best bet. And then we also let the consumers know, or let people on our mailing list know a little bit ahead of schedule which shops are going when, and try to fit everybody into our schedule.
But you have to remember we're going quick, so it's normally doesn't last even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't even last a few days, truthfully, based on last year. So,
yeah, because you guys are you guys all sold out through next year?
No, we have not released the.
Okay.
Well, it's not Memorial Day yet, Seth. So
for some reason. For some reason, I got confused. I thought they had sold it out for next year for some reason. But I mean, they really do move fast, and I know it's really a wonderful opportunity. So join the mailing list and get on it, because it's an opportunity that you don't want to miss. It's just truly wonderful.
Quick question from the audience is, people are talking about, we know that have went on the Reddit and Cats trip, and then there's retailer trips. What if you've just got kind of a one lone ranger that has no friends, that just wants to come down and join a group? Is there like an open group they can join, or do you have to come down as a part of a group?
No, you can come down. What we basically do is some of the trips are group-based trips. So like the Cat and the Reddit trip, for example, is open to Cat and Reddit, Cat's members and Redditors. And then what we do is we fill a lot of the other trips based on the stores. If the stores don't fill those trips, we'll oftentimes, we'll plug people in into a good group of people. I think you guys could say you guys didn't know everybody that was coming down to your trip, but you guys all had a good time. And it's one of those things I feel like if you're a lone guy, or maybe you have a friend, you're trying to go down with maybe 2 people, 1 person, you shouldn't be really worried about which group is going or which group you're slotted into, because you're going to have fun no matter what.
Also, always tag along with our customers, the retailers.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, I as the media trip, I knew the names of the people going down there, but I never met a lot of them in person. I never met Logan in person. But I think we all connected. We all had a good time. So it's just great to talk with everyone and just see everyone's reaction. Just looking at all this stuff, and just talking, and the conversations that came about from it. So it's really just a wonderful experience.
Right.
Logan, do you have any more questions from the audience for these people?
I mean, I've got a bunch of questions that we've got queued up, but I kind of want to take them as they come as we kind of move through. But I can knock out a couple of specific ones now if you want me to. Yeah,
I was just going to ask Henry. Henry came on. I was going to ask Henry if he's all right.
Oh, I'm sure he's fine. So while we're waiting for that, let me find this. Well, here's a good question for all of us while we're waiting, is how long does it take to recover from smoking approximately 30 cigars a day for 4 days?
Why did you need to recover?
That's what I was going to say. No, man, that's not even a recovery. That's just every day, man. Literally. Go ahead.
We're slab rats. I mean, Mario and I are slab rats. 30 cigars. Come on. What is this, amateur hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. I saw Seth every day next to the pool. I tried to be somewhat strategic, because you are smoking a crap ton of cigars throughout the day. Start something like, a Herrera Esteli or start with something a little bit milder and work yourself up through the day. But no, Seth did not adhere to that rule. He was drinking at 6:30 in the morning. He was just slamming coffee back, just wrecking number nines like it was his job. Just, I mean, a pure wrecking ball.
It was. I'd be up at 6:30 in the morning, sitting by the pool. They didn't even have coffee ready. I tried to help them clean up from our mess the night before, and they basically, in the most polite way, yelled at me and told me to go sit down. So I was like, okay. So I just walked, and then I went upstairs. Like, oh, I'll smoke a League of Nine. And by that point, they came by and they tapped on my shoulder and they said, "Cafe's ready." So I just poured some good coffee. Coffee's incredible down there for all the interested. So it's just amazing.
Nicaraguan coffee is always awesome.
Oh, it's terrific.
To put it in perspective, we sent an email to all the guys on the trip asking them to bring one bottle of their most favorite alcohol. So when Seth's talking about recovering, we were doing a lot of recovering.
That's a tradition of the media trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were doing some serious recovering.
And it's it was my first one, and I know next year I'm gonna still bring down some stuff, but I'm just gonna stop at duty free too and just pick up a bunch of some Habana Club for $15 and just bring that on back. It's just the way to go as well. So, but there's a lot of bourbon, and it's if you go down there, find the group of guys and bring down some special stuff. It's a good way to connect with everybody in the clubhouse, as I called it. Play cards and dominoes and have a good time.
Sure. What did you guys think? I wanted to ask you guys this, so I'll pose a question to you, I guess. What did you guys think when you guys were asking, or when you guys were talking about the factory and you were talking about the people? Seth, you definitely had an interesting experience with the people. Can you guys, what was your say? What would you guys say? Did you guys say that you felt at home the whole time? How did you guys feel?
Did I feel safe? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, did you guys feel safe? How were the people when you talked to them? When you were meeting them?
It was wonderful. The people were incredibly kind, and and there was, I didn't speak Spanish and they didn't speak English, but you could, communicate with them. We had Henry and Pedro with us, and if I ever had a question, I could ask Henry, and Henry would translate. Pedro would do the same. We can talk about my adventure down in downtown Esteli later on at the lettuce shop. Yeah,
boot shop.
The boot shop, man. But it's a wonderful. It's honestly just a wonderful country. The people were very friendly. No matter where you were, and just you have a company which the people they love what they're doing. They look like they love what they're doing. You're looking at these rollers, and they're smiling, they're laughing. They're focusing on making these quality premium cigars, but at the same time, they're connecting with one another and they're having a good time. And it's an experience that was very different. And I'm not saying that Oya didn't have that same experience, but Oya was a lot different. And this is Oya de Nicaragua, everyone, than the Drew Estate factory, because the Drew Estate factory, it was almost like you walked in and they want you to be comfortable. You want to feel very comfortable when you walk in, and that's what that vibe was. And I think everybody felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cuban factory is depressing.
Yeah.
There's no fun.
Yeah.
It's all just, I put that stuff out.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me, and I've traveled, and for people that follow Cigar Chat and follow me, I traveled to India a lot for work. And I think the thing that stuck out for me about the people was that, if you don't understand what they're doing, you don't really look at it. You look at it like, hey, these people are coming in, they're doing the same job every single day. It's gotta suck. But for the people there, for the workers at Drew Estate, one, they're taken care of. And, there's a medical facility on site. When people were there, they were 100% welcoming, and you could tell that people it wasn't a job, it was a career. You know what I mean? And it was very infectious. Like, it makes me want to go back and not necessarily yell at my employees 24 hours a day like I normally do, because I have to. But it was a very, very eye-opening experience, and just walking through, I don't speak a lick of Spanish other than say, because I don't understand what anybody's saying, but it was just, I felt like at home. Do you know what I mean? It was just, I didn't feel like a gringo or a foreigner at all. So.
So what do you think about Subculture Studio?
Oh man,
It
wow!
was a mind blow. It was a mind blow.
I call it mind fuck. I got mind fucked when I went in there. I mean, it's just it's Jonathan and just telling Jesse, just be creative. Have fun with it. Be creative. Let's see what you can do. And I think because of that, it's so Jesse and it's so Drew Estate and it's so real that it's just perfect. I mean, forcing anything would just be, just not who you all are. I mean, it's just have fun with it. I mean, and I wish I had my travel humidor that Jesse did up for me. I posted some photos. I'll post another one. But, Jesse asked me, hey, what do you want designed on it? I was like, hey, man, just have a rat playing hockey. And he's like, okay. So, I got it back, the night we were leaving before we left, and it was just awesome work. And I don't know if Jesse did it or whichever one of his guys did it in the Subculture Studios, but it's incredible. I mean, it's a piece of art, and that's what they do. And it's just awesome.
Yeah,
that's a very unique facility. You have over 20 artists working under there. That's I never heard of.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The new Herrera Estelí ashtrays that are coming out are awesome. Or I don't know if those are out, but those look awesome.
Yeah, I mean, about Subculture Studios for me, I mean, the thing that I loved about it was just how, I mean, Jesse is able just to infuse like the art, the culture, the personality into Drew Estate, through the artwork, through the branding, and how the biggest shocker for me is honestly, I was expecting Subculture Studios to be like Jesse and like one other dude in there with like paint on their face, like just going nuts, like just doing crazy stuff. But I mean, the fact that you guys do some of your box artwork in there and things like that, it is just I think a testament to how you let people be creative, but then at the same time you bring in a business aspect to make your company, to make Drew Estate more efficient, to make everything run smoother, let people do what they do and what they thrive at, but also to kind of move Drew Estate forward. I don't know. I thought it was awesome. I mean, it was awesome. And I had some shirts made up in a humidor, and I just said, hey, Jesse, 100% trust your judgment. Just put this SigFed logo on the humidor and just do something cool. And honestly, a hand-painted SigFed logo looks better than the logo on our stickers. It was ridiculous. I mean, seriously, it was ridiculous.
Especially we talking about Herrera Estelí ashtray. That was a good collaboration between Miami creative side and then Jesse's side. So Joey designed it, and Jesse going to the carpentry and make it happen, and all that stuff is working seamlessly between Miami and Nicaragua. So it's a good teamwork.
One of the things that we focused on, Mario, at the Cigar Safari that Jesse touched on with Logan and with Seth and the gang was that Joey and Jesse have actually never met.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Joey's been with the company for like oodles of years. I mean, just as Jesse's been, they've been around for a very, very long time. They're both, higher up individuals in the company from the creative side and the artistic side. There's no ego between either of them. They work seamlessly, and they've actually never met each other. We're trying to change that. We're trying to get Joey to go down there.
Yeah.
So that's our core objective this year.
Yeah.
So has Joey never been down there?
Nope.
Wow.
Never.
By choice, or I mean, is he on a no-fly list, or what's the deal?
No, it's not that. Joey's one of the hardest working guys at the company. When you think about, I mean, you guys touched on down in Nicaragua. I mean, Drew Estate is a pretty large company at this point, but it runs still kind of like a family business. I mean, I've at this point I've been Mario, now almost 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that kind of hit me pretty hard was it's kind of like a family deli. So unfortunately, because Joey's really our only graphic designer here and creative designer here in Miami, he gets slammed. I mean, every poster that you guys see, Joey's touched. Any swag item, all that kind of cool stuff. Joey's fingers have touched that. So Joey works like an animal. That's really the truth.
Yep.
You know, it shows though. I mean, you guys just always have merchandise and everything out there, and it's just grabbing people's attention, and it just speaks to a lot of people. So it shows the success for it. So next thing you need is just rats with tits, man. Rats with tits.
Every cigar safari that I've gone, I've convinced somebody to put that on their travel humidor.
Rats with tits.
It's usually the guy that you would not expect.
This is the guy I would not expect. It's the very conservative guy who's like, man, I do want rats with tits on my
The
humidor.
accountant or whatever, that's in Texas. You know what I mean? That's like Bible thumping Christian that comes out all of a sudden has got this crazy humidor from Jesse, like completely out of left field, but it's cool.
Yeah. No, I mean it was it's, and the other thing is, a part of it, the Subculture Studio was just kind of sealed off because I know Jesse and them are getting ready for IPCPR.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we didn't get a teaser. No one got a teaser, which is very cool. It's one of those you get to see it at IPCPR, and it's it was cool to hear about the story of the hard hats and how those came about last year, because Jesse talked about that, which was really sweet as well. So
now, you guys are going to be going to IPCPR?
Logan,
I will be there.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Very cool.
rocking and rolling.
A lot of crazy stuff going on for IPCPR, so I can't say too much, but it's going to be crazy.
What is up with all you guys in the industry that always like, man, we got some crazy shit coming out for the trade show, but I can't fucking tell you. But it's going to be awesome. I hate it.
Well,
it breaks my heart, Mario.
Our stuff.
I'm not talking about cigars, the overall, arrangement that we are doing. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody come up with a crazy cigar, whatever it is, but this is something different.
That's
Something
all.
different.
It'll be crazy in true real estate fashion.
Yeah, but it's that craziness from the early years that's gotten y'all where you are. I mean, it's like the titles I have in my articles, DE2, A Dream Come True. That's something Nick said. Right place, right time, right vision. That's what Jonathan Drew said to us, that first morning in the cafeteria, which is, it's a testament to the company. I mean, you guys have been doing some great stuff.
Tell me a little bit from your guys' perspective. You guys got to see, different Polones and from different factories, but DE2 I think is a little bit special from the standpoint of how it's set up. How did you guys? I mean, walking into a room just stacked with tobacco like it was. What did you got? What was your impression?
Wow.
Yeah, like I want to just bathe in it and just pull a pile up and just take a little nap or something. I mean, it's one of those things you can't really. I mean, I have pictures and stuff, but it's one of those things you just can't really do it justice until you walk in and you just see it. Like, it's like, holy shit, you have so much tobacco. I'm like, shit, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I know exactly where I'm going because I know I'll have cigars for the next 10 years. But, it was amazing. I think the thing that struck me was how much thought was put into the way that D2 was set up and some of the I guess the infrastructure things, like, if you think about a pilone, I mean, basically what you're doing is you're fermenting it, you're heating it up. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, that shit can catch on fire. And the way that, certain systems were put in place to be able to curb that without ruining tobacco and stuff really blew my mind, because someone, before this building was put up, sat back and thought about all this shit heavily before you did it, which I think is amazing, because in my almost 8 years in the corporate world, that's not necessarily how shit works.
I don't know any of you see our old facility that fermenting tobacco is night and day.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I mean, that's, I was even talking about it because, the one thing it was, you have all this tobacco, and this is, I wrote about it, but it's like, well, first of all, the first thing you have to worry about is any of this going to catch on fire? So how are you going to make sure it doesn't catch on fire? Well, you got to be able to fight fire with, and you're going to fight it with water. Well, you can't have a sprinkler system everywhere, because if the sprinkler system just gets cut on, it's going to ruin all the tobacco as well. So there's your second problem. So then Jonathan's like, we have a trained fire team, trained fire brigade. And I spoke to Nick. I was like, you guys have your own fire brigade. He says, yeah, City of Esteli's fire department trained our guys how to fight fires correctly. So it's like, you guys have your own firefighters to make sure that DE2 stays where it is. I mean, and it's that you don't lose any tobacco. And it's, I mean, it's incredible. And I don't know if any other company has that. If they don't, it just goes to show how much you guys are on top of things and you're paying attention to things.
Yeah.
Technological. I mean, did you guys? We took you to the water purification room and all that too, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just purifying our own water on site and all everything.
Yeah.
It's also very technologically advanced.
Reverse osmosis water, I think Nick said, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which is just, I mean, it's incredible from the storage aspect to the sorting aspect, even just to the area de pilon, which was just, I mean, you walk in and you're like, wow, this is a lot of tobacco, and you just, the numbers involved in it are incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Nick probably, I don't even know the hours that Nick works, but it's got to be intense because running DE2 and stuff like that, he's got to be there almost late into the nights, probably.
Well, Seth, that you say that, I think it's actually a very good segue into. So as you guys know, we're doing a couple of giveaways tonight. If you haven't checked it out, we're giving away a box of Liga Privada 9s. That contest still runs till midnight, so you can still get your entries in if you haven't done so. But during the show specifically, we wanted to give away, Seth and I, some from our personal stash that we got down while we're on Cigar Safari and just random cigars that we've collected. And I want to give away my first 5-pack, and the reason I say this is because it's directly related to Nick. So in the 5-pack, there's some cool stuff, so I'm going to pull up the picture really quick, but I'm going to tell you the story while I do it. So Nick absolutely busts his balls working all day, and I think one thing I took away is that tobacco, it's not you just put in a pilon and you're like, okay, it's exactly 30 days or 2 years or whatever, and it comes out. Absolutely not. I mean, you have to constantly test it to understand what the temperature is. You constantly have to smoke it. You constantly have to care for it. I mean, it's like a friggin' child, basically. And if you mismanage it or neglect it for even the shortest period of time, I mean, you can have a whole pilon just absolutely go to shit, and you're losing thousands of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. So in the 5-pack I'm giving away an Undercrown Corona Viva, one of the Royal Gold Nirvanas, a Nika Rustica, and then 2 fun cigars. One is actually a T52 without a wrapper, so it's just the filler and the binder. But the one I want to talk about as part of Nick's job, which I found so interesting, is a cigar where it's actually wrapped. It's a number 9, but it was from a certain pilon that they were getting ready to test that was about done. And so that's what Nick would do. Part of his process will be going around smoking cigars all day to say, you know, is this wrapper ready? Is this filler ready yet? Just so when it gets to that point, they can pull it and start actually sorting it again and then producing cigars and getting it to the production floor. So you'll be getting one of those cigars. Now, granted, it's kind of new and it's a little bit fresh. It was rolled less than a month ago. So if you win this, I would probably say hold off on smoking it for a little bit. Or you can smoke it now and just do whatever you want because it'll be yours. So with that being said, for this 5-pack, we will draw the winner in a second, but I want everyone who is watching now just to email me at logan@cigarfederation.com, subject Drew Estate Sampler with your full name and email address, and here in a couple minutes when people have got a chance to email me and get in, I will pick a winner. So with that being said, Seth, say something intelligent and bright.
Oh my gosh, I just kind of got lost in there. But here's another thing: is if you're watching this, the other thing SickFed doing is 10% off Undercrown Corona Vivas because that's Logan's cigar of choice, and then the Herrera Esteli's. I don't know. Did you do the Lonsdales or just all the Herrera Esteli's?
Just all Herrera Esteli's.
All Herrera Esteli's because heck, they're all great. So. And you know, I think that's probably one of the cigars that we were smoking the most of while we were down there. So, it's an exciting brand that really completes the portfolio of Drew Estate. But yeah, so we're also doing that. But we got some more 5-packs we're giving away, and if you haven't entered to win the Ligas, box of Liga 9s, enter away. So, Sam, Mario, do you have any questions for us? I mean, gosh,
I feel like the tables have been turned on us.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's good. It's good.
I think you guys should. I think we should get into some stories, man. Because for me, it's
It's about the stories.
Yeah, I mean, we get to do probably the most fun part about Cigar Safari for me is getting to meet people that I'd probably never have the opportunity to meet. And we're all at the end of the day, we're all cigar smokers. We all like to have fun, but we all come from different, interesting backgrounds. So for me, I liked especially hearing your guys' stories. Granted, we were enjoying ourselves quite a bit with some great beverages at the time that we were telling these stories. And I don't know how appropriate all of them are for this show. However, I think just the story aspect, everything that we saw along the way, I mean, that for me is the most powerful.
Man.
I like Seth's Jesus story the best, to be honest.
Should we drop the Jesus story?
I think
Logan,
we should drop the Jesus story, talk about poker and how much better I am than the world at poker.
Hey, listen, here's the deal, man. Just because let's hold on a second about the poker. Is just because you talk shit and distract everyone and then get knocked out, second person to go out, and then your weak ass comes back in and buys in for $6.
And did I make quite the $6 comeback? That's what
you did. You made a $6 comeback. You made a comeback with that $6. I'll give you that. I think it goes down to how, in playing poker, it was, there was Thor, there was you, there was Nick, myself, and Logan. Eric was playing. Eric Stogie's on the rock. And Johnny Brook was just struggling.
He's a cheat. Let's be real.
He's a fucking cheat. He's not here, so I'm going to talk shit. He's a cheat.
Right.
But then he puts on this music, like we're in a club.
The worst music ever, by the way.
Worst music ever, and no one can concentrate. And the next thing you know, Johnny Brook's making his darn comeback. So we're all like, "What the hell is going on here?" So, but that was a good poker tournament. Unfortunately, Nick and Thor settled in the end.
I made a big investment, a $6 investment with you, Seth. I mean, in the beginning, Seth was kicking everybody's butt. I mean,
I was rocking it.
I mean, if you looked at what the chip averages were on the table, it was pretty clear Seth was going to win. So I took it upon myself to give all of my money and everybody else's that I could as well to Thor, to create a nice pact between Seth and Thor. And then luckily Thor, took out Seth because I wasn't going to deal with all the shit talking for the rest of the trip.
Thor beat me down with that damn hammer of his. Thor crushed me.
Dude.
I don't know if he's ever going to use Hammer of Thor.
Yeah. So the second time we played poker, you weren't there, Sam, but I was struggling in the end, and I was still hanging on. But I was like, how can I take the edge here? So I decided to light up a KFC, and I figured that fire cured tobacco would possibly distract everyone. Which 2 hands later, I lost everything when I went all in.
It was a bold strategy, but it did not work out for you.
It did not work out well in the end.
At least you have a strategy. Having a strategy is the most,
I don't know if it
critical step.
Mario, Sam probably referenced any comment involving Rome that you could think of. Win in Rome, all roads lead to Rome.
Romans do.
Do as Romans do. I mean, you name it.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
I mean, geez, it was every 10 seconds. It was, when in Rome. So he was. But Logan, if you want to tell the Jesus Christ story,
I mean, I probably can't. I probably can't tell you as good as Seth will, but let me I'm going to paint the picture, and then I'll pass it to you, Seth, for you to then tell your side of the conversation. But so we went to as the second to last night before we left Esteli, and we went to a leather shop, and there was a lot of guys went in and got hats and boots and belts and all that stuff. Well, Seth didn't go outside. Seth was in the street smoking basically, and it wasn't the first time Seth got accosted by someone. I swear he was just like a gringo magnet. Everybody was coming up to him asking for money or doing whatever. And it hadn't happened once, but while we were sitting there, and it was me, Dan Reeve from Cigar Press, and then Johnny Brook, who's not here because he's a cheating bastard. But we were sitting there, and this guy comes up, and he'd walked by several times, and we're like, oh, man, is this guy going to come up and talk to us? And, of course, he turns around, he gravitates to Seth. And so he's, like, trying to talk to Seth, and Seth doesn't speak any Spanish. So we get Henry, who'll be on the show hopefully here in a little bit, and came up to kind of translate. And then next thing I hear is Jesus. And I'm like, Jesus? And I look over at Brooke and Dan. I was like, did that dude just call Seth Jesus? And then, Seth, you take it away with the rest of the story.
Yeah, the guy came up to me and he starts speaking to me in Spanish, and like anyone, I said I have no idea what you're talking about, but I still engage in the conversation, asked him what's going on, how's he doing, and that really didn't get us anywhere. And then he saw I was drinking some Tona and drinking a cigar. He's like, cerveza, cigar? I was like, yeah, just having a good old time, and we're just chitty-chatting. And finally, I'm like, we gotta expedite this conversation. So I yelled for Henry, who was in there bartering for Charlie's sweet cowboy boots, which he got, and I think Thor got some boots as well or something. Iguana, yeah. I mean, I saw him, I was like, geez. But Henry comes out, and I said, Henry, what's this guy talking about? So, Henry gets in conversation with him, and next thing I know, he's like, oh, he came over here, and he saw you over there, and he thought you looked like, the Lord Jesucristo, and he thought he'd come over and be able to talk to you, and I was like, look at that. So, and then he said he was hungry too, so I said, let's give him some money. So Henry goes to open up his wallet, and I'm like, Henry, what are you doing? And Henry looks at me like, I thought I'd give him money. So I handed the guy like $10, to which the Nicaraguan looks at me like, whoa. And even Henry's like, why are you giving him $10? But I didn't know. So I didn't know what the equivalent was, which was about like 4 days of meals, I think. That's what Henry said, or something like that.
Good. I think I got a story for you, a Mario story.
I want to hear a Mario story.
This is a good story. So,
Shit.
So the first Cigar Safari of the year, I'm with Mario, John Brook, and that's it, I think. I think it was just us three. And John Brook finds this little cat, like this little kitten, real small, real cute looking. And John Brook spends like 3.5 hours playing with his cat, while Mario, who happens to be the most particular person in the world, is looking at leather belts. I'm hanging with Mario, and Mario's looking at these snakeskin belts and saying like, hey, what do you think about this snakeskin versus this snakeskin? And I'm not going to lie, it was all snakeskin. But Mario could very clearly tell that there was a difference between this snake and that snake. So finally, Mario decides that he's only going to buy one belt out of probably about the 700 snakeskin belts that we've tried on. Now, little do you guys also know that Mario is the king of leaving things behind and losing things. So all of the things that he carries with him for such a tiny individual is like ridiculously huge. So his phone case, a normal iPhone 5S or iPhone 5, it's like 7 times the size. It's like carrying around a boombox. His wallet, which might only have a few credit cards in it, is like carrying around a merce. I mean, it's serious. And even got a chain attached to it, so to attach to his belt loop. So finally, somehow or some way, Mario's able to purchase this belt, but also lose his merce. So we go back to the car, and Mario's got with him at least 3 backpacks at all time. Mario, can you confirm that? At least
exaggerating.
At least 3 backpacks. So within this whole situation, Mario realizes that he left behind this rock of a wallet that he has. So we now are meandering through the streets of Esteli trying to find a Japanese guy's wallet in Nicaragua, and it's just not working according to plan. So I finally put the kibosh on the whole search party thing and just go straight to the car. And where was the wallet? In Mario's backpack. 7 hours trying to, because I'm translating Mario's English-Japanese to then Spanish-English, and it just wasn't working well. It wasn't working well at all.
Oh, wow.
But we found it in the end.
So.
Hey. All roads lead to Rome.
All roads lead to Rome. Remember that.
Remember that. It's important.
When you're on a road, do as the Romans do.
Now, when you guys are down there, you don't tour in the darn cigar safari bus. You guys just travel by like vehicles and so forth, right?
It depends. I mean, it depends what we're there for. If we're on a cigar safari, we like to go with you guys on the bus. Jesse's got a pretty sweet ride, so I like going with him when I can.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, no, generally the buses aren't. And also, I don't know if you guys realized or you guys recognized, but also Drew Estate from where the location it is in Esteli, there was a lot of school buses parked out at D too.
Yeah, that's all the employee school buses, isn't it?
Right. We've got buses that we've got transportation to and from work for the guys. So.
Yeah, Pedro was telling me because I was when we were walking back to blending, I said, "Are all these school buses, for the employees?" And he says, "Yeah." And Pedro said that the school buses take them to a lot of parts in Esteli so that you can pick up their employees and drop off their employees, and it's they can get to work. I mean, which is pretty incredible. I mean, it's like you're thinking this is public transportation for people. They can get to work now, and it's very easy to get there. So.
Right. What did you guys think of Managua? We got to have a nice meal there.
It's the big city.
What'd you think of the steak? How good was the food?
Oh, that steak is awesome. That
mean,
churrasco steak.
Well, I mean, my dad and my parents do own a large cattle ranch in west central Missouri. So I'm not knocking the beef. For Nicaraguan beef, it was delicious. But when you've tasted that Lawler beef, you'll know. That's all I got to say.
I kind of want to ask you to taste your beef, but I feel like that would be like...
I know. I opened you up for that one. I was waiting for... As soon as I said it, I was like, shit, man, I fucking left myself wide open for that one.
That was like volleyball. You just let it... You just said it.
I mean, I just said it right there on the tee, and you're like 27, and you just knocked it right off the tee, man. Home run. But no, I mean, Managua is cool. Managua's cool. It's definitely different. Like, for those who don't know, I mean, it's a lower lying area. I mean, it's a very picturesque city because I mean you have a little lake, you have a volcano. I mean it's a very cool city, but it's definitely different because it's a lot more hustle and bustle. There's definitely a lot more people around. You can tell it's definitely a more urban area. But as you go up, make no mistake, the bus ride from Esteli or from Managua to Esteli is not for the faint of heart at all because you're going up. You're actually going up into the mountains, into the valleys. And yeah, your ears are popping. I mean, people just everywhere. I don't know, man. It was a fun ride. I'm just glad that I wasn't driving because it could have been disastrous.
What do you think about the traffic lights that we had there?
What traffic lights?
That's my point. There was none.
Which ones? No, there wasn't any at all.
It's optional. Just keep going. That's why I'd love to drive there, just to be like, yeah, let's give it a shot. But no, the beef's really good. Jonathan bought some cashews from the people who are holding up the road with their fake traffic working on the road signals. So we bought some cashews. The cashews are really good. I mean, and for those, I mean, I think most cigar smokers will probably have heard, or if you're friends with Skip Martin on Facebook, you know about Flor de Cana rum. The Nicaraguan rum, which is incredible rum, and even the Nicaraguan chocolate, which we had at Olla de Nicaragua, which is very good chocolate as well. I mean, there's a lot of other goods coming and exporting out of the country than just cigars. And there you go. Look at that, Mario.
Yeah,
for sure.
Look at that, the good stuff.
How did you guys get through on customs when you guys got back? Was it easy for you guys?
I was good coming. I know that a couple of guys that brought like heavy duty, high tech, video equipment and stuff got stopped. I did, unfortunately, and I travel a lot for work, and I usually get through customs because they look at me and they're like, oh, this guy's safe. Like, I never have a problem. But no, going back through, dude, this lady shook my ass down getting into the airport, and she literally, Seth was there, ripped apart my bag, and I have a couple of medicine bottles full of just coins from different countries I've been into, or different countries and euros and pounds and rupees and all types of shit. Well, anyways, I had those in there, and she was trying to figure out what it was, and I literally stood there for 10 minutes for her to do it. My bag was just completely fucking destroyed, and then she's like, adios, and I'm like, well, okay, well, you're not going to help me put it back together. Thank you very much. Yeah, but other than that, nah, no issues at all.
Man, I don't know what I did wrong this trip back, but I tried to bring back just a little bit of coffee, and when I say a little bit, I mean like $5 worth of coffee, a small bag, and somehow I got placed in this line at the Miami airport where there was like I was waiting in line for 4.5 hours.
No
Jeez.
shit.
Yeah, and it just happened to be that everybody around me was bringing dogs back to the United States.
Oh, man.
They were all like barking and peeing on the floor and stuff, so I spent there for 4 hours over a $5 bag. So I wasn't too happy. I'll tell you that much.
Well, you know,
Dude,
I brought down like a pretty sick knife, which was very helpful for cutting cigars when we were on the bus headed up to Esteli. But you know, when we're going back to Managua, I can't remember where I packed this knife. So I'm like, is this in like my duffel bag that I'm carrying on with me? And I'm like going through security, and I'm like looking through my bag. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't find this knife. Next thing I know, you know, Nicaraguan military standing right by the machine, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please tell me I don't have the damn knife. I'm not getting out of this country. I'm getting arrested. And as Pedro said, that's why I'm going to get you know, I don't want to go to prison and drop the suit. So that's a story we should share. So for all those out there, Pedro, and hopefully he's going to be on the call very shortly. But
I have a great story to tell too.
Let's hear it.
Tell him, Mario.
So when I back from the Nicaragua, not long time ago, like 2 years ago whatsoever, and then I have a heavy duty photo equipment, all that stuff we carrying around in the tobacco farm and all that stuff. On the way back, you know, I landed in New York, you know, JFK airport, and then goes through the custom or whatever the checking point. I got caught by official, and then they think that I am carrying a bomb. And then they try to do a full cavity search.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
And then find out that it's actually, when we went to the tobacco farm, you know, some fertilizer, you know,
Yeah.
on my back. So they found the thing, and they think is I have a bomb or something. So I almost missed the flight because of I was going through the full cavity search. You know, it was crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude.
Don't go to the tobacco farm with your bag, so it's gonna be bad.
Or just don't carry multiple bags wherever you go.
It's true.
Mario's smuggling dirt back, so yeah. No, I mean, but that's what everyone said is, you know, like they're like, whatever you do, just don't say you went to a farm. You know, you did not go to a farm when you were down there. So, but you know, the farm we went to was just gorgeous. The curing barn was really cool. Besides the fact that I thought Pedro was leaving Henry behind when we were driving away on the bus.
That was good. That was good.
So,
What do you guys think about the hats? Didn't we make you guys all wear hats on this trip? The straw hats?
the hats are great. I still rock the hat when I'm outside from time to time.
You brought one back with you?
Oh yeah, I brought it back, man.
Oh, nice.
No, man. They were too small for my big ass dome. So
You have a killer dome, that's all I'm going to say.
I do, man. Charlie stole mine. That's all I gotta say.
Charlie could pull that hat off. I mean, the only other people who could wear that hat well were Henry and Pedro, and Pedro didn't even bother with it. But Henry could pull it off. I especially liked when Henry was wearing it, singing CCR Credence on the bus. That was just priceless right there.
I had to explain. You guys know that Macklemore Thrift Shop song, right? You guys hear it on the radio?
Yeah.
Yeah. I explained to Henry loves that song. So when I first met Henry was just blasting the song over and over and over again. And I'm like, Henry, man, this is a song that like 16-year-old girls in the United States listen to. You know, how are you enjoying this? So I explained to Henry what Macklemore was actually saying in the song, and at that point, Henry decided that he liked it even more.
Henry.
Pedro is the same way, all 80s.
Yep.
Kind of weird.
Yep. Yep, Pedro likes CCR though. I introduced Pedro to CCR on the way to the Keys. But that is a totally different story.
That is not show appropriate whatsoever.
Oh man.
Not at all. And then his reaction, like, it was one of those stories that is so ridiculous that you're like, Sam, you're so full of shit. This cannot be true. And we call Pedro over, and we're like, Pedro, is this true? He's like, oh, yeah, man. That's just totally true. And I'm just like, oh, shit, really? And then my respect level for Pedro went up about 6 notches because I was just like, you are a man. You are a man among boys, my friend. You're a man among boys.
Easy. And Pedro's coming back. Believe it or not, the saga will continue. Pedro gets back to the United States on the 5th of May, at which point Pedro's going to move in with me down here in Miami, so I can only imagine
Whoa.
what the is going to be.
Oh, that's a bad idea. You have no idea how some live his places. I can't advertise it in this thing. Not totally not appropriate, but oh man.
Oh man.
That's gonna be crazy.
Poor Pedro. So, because Pedro was talking about how he bought some land while he was down there, and
Yeah.
See, it was right next to the farm. You guys remember?
Yeah, it was right around the road.
Yep. So, what did you guys think about in terms of the feel of the whole trip? I felt like towards the end, everybody was pretty tired. I mean, towards the end, you guys were pooped. You guys had like no energy left.
Yeah. I mean,
you guys
Cigar Surgeon. Go ahead.
Rowdy out of the group. You guys were rowdier than the average Bears, but I feel like it died down.
It's one of those things where it's, we came in on a Sunday, we had lunch there in Managua, and then basically we were at Drew Estate that night, and around, Monday and Tuesday, and we basically left Wednesday pretty early morning. And it's one of those things where, you've just got to, the way I look at it, and I got advice from Cigar Surgeon, who has been down there a couple of times as a moderator on Cigar Federation. He's like, dude, it goes so quick. Don't be the first guy to go to bed. Stay up as late as you can. Enjoy every fucking second, because the next thing you know, you're going to be going home and you're going to be wishing that you were still there. So that was kind of the strategy I took. It was a bold strategy, and it worked out well. So,
some Mythbusters, some Cigar Federation Mythbusters.
Dude, it is. I mean, we got Surgeon's a fucking genius.
I've heard from many people that have gone down on the trip that they say that the cigars taste different down there.
They do.
So so myth has not been busted, according to the Sig Fed.
Even Steve Saka always say.
You guys tasted the difference. What did you guys taste? What makes it different?
I don't. We were talking about this. I was talking about this with Ben Lee and Eric. The T52s we were smoking down there were probably some of the best T52s I've had in a long time.
Now you're talking
and they were great. And I don't know if it's just the new production and the Palones that the wrapper leaf is coming from, but the wrapper was just dark and oily. It was just wonderful. But even just the Herrera Estelís tastes different down there. I mean, I think it's just. I mean, those are right from the aging room in the floor. They're right from. I mean, they smoke wonderfully down there.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a combination of just you're getting the cigars, before. I mean, and I think a lot of it's just the experience, right? I mean, a great guy in the cigar industry, and I won't say who, always told me, and I'm a firm believer in this, is that if you smoke a bad cigar, but you're in the best mood, you just had your first baby, you're getting married, you just got promoted, that cigar is going to taste amazing, no matter how shitty it really is. Or if you take the best cigar and you smoke it when you're in a shitty mood, someone just cut you off, you're pissed off for some reason, whatever, it's going to taste like the worst cigar you ever smoked. And I think a lot of it is just the experience. I mean, being able to wake up and sit around the pool and drink coffee and watch the sun rise over the valley behind Drew Estate, on the bus, going to see the farms and the fields, walking through Drew Estate, watching Drew talk for 17 hours, but making it feel like 5 minutes and just dropping all types of knowledge. I mean, I think that's a lot of it for me. But
Also, most of people that don't go to factory, they don't have a chance to smoke fresh cigar.
Yeah.
And then it's actually right before going to sick period. Actually, cigar is kind of different also.
Yeah.
That's also very unique experience that smoking fresh cigar is actually surprisingly good. And then going to the sick period, you have to wait for at least 45 days or whatsoever. But T52 is a good example after 1 year age or something, even better. But it's a fresh cigar is a totally different animal. So, and then not many people experience it unless you go to factory.
Yeah. I mean, it was, two experiences. It's like I'd get up at like 3 in the morning. Just I drove to the airport, got on the planes, got down there. So when I got into Managua, I'd been up since 3 in the morning. I just had like 5 Cafe Cubanos in Miami. Dan Reeves like, how are you drinking that much stuff? How much? And even Willie's looking at me like, how is this gringo drinking this stuff?
Cuban fuel, man.
What's up?
It's called Cuban rocket fuel.
Oh yeah, I mean I was perfectly fine. I was rolling. So when I get down to Managua, I'm like, let's go. So and then we get on this bus, and Henry's like passing out T52s. So when you smoke a T52 after you've been up since 3 in the morning, you're down in Nicaragua, about to start Cigar Safari. I mean that's like the best T52 you can ever ask for right there.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's just the bomb right there. I mean they're great cigars anyways, but that's that's how you can rock and roll with that. But even when we did the Drew Estate factory tour right after, it's right after lunch on the first day. We walk in the factory and the guys rolling Undercrown Flying Pigs, and Jonathan's like, hey, do you want to smoke this Undercrown Flying Pig? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. It's without a wrapper though. It's just the binder and everything. So I'm holding this T52 Toro, and Drew just takes it from me and throws it on the rolling floor, and I'm like, not the T52.
Oh, no.
What are you doing? And then you light up the Undercrown Flying Pig, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. There's no wrapper, but this is sweet. You're like, oh, screw the T52, just moving right along. So, but you're right. I mean, smoking it fresh is just incredible, and then just having that. There's something about smoking it at the factory when you're down in Nicaragua where the cigars are made, right there, and you're seeing these people who are rolling it and you've interacted with them. It's very, very special.
Right. Yeah, I learned the hard way flying down. I fell asleep, but I was watching Game of Thrones on my computer. I fell asleep, and apparently nobody thought it was really funny for all the crazy scenes in Game of Thrones to be watching over my shoulder. I woke up, they were looking at me like I was the sickest person they've ever seen in their entire life.
Oh God.
But the other, the one last thing really quick is I didn't know, for those who go down, you guys have Ken who does like filming and taking photos.
Yes.
I didn't know that Ken was taking photos for the Drew Estate tour. So we're all outside just, talking and everything. And I'm looking in the airport, and meanwhile, I just pulled out my, my knife in my backpack just to put in my pocket, and I just see, this guy behind like a crowd of people taking photos of us, and I look over to Logan, and I'm like, who's this guy taking our photos? What's going on here? I'm gonna go talk to this guy, see what's up. And then Brooke's like, no man, he works for us. That's Ken. He's with Drew Estate, and Ken's a really cool guy. So
you guys have seen the YouTube videos that Kenny's helped us produce, right?
I have.
Yeah.
We're number 9. We're video number 9 that has not been released yet.
he said give it a couple weeks.
So, if you guys want to see a little bit about what we all got to experience together on the Cigar Safari trip, you guys can fire up YouTube and find Drew Estate's channel. We've got a ton of different videos. We'd like to do a little bit of different things on different trips, and we also like to showcase that in the video. So it's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get,
We're going to have a total like 17, 18 videos
Yeah.
this year.
The Drew Estate videos that you all guys have up is great, and on a totally unrelated note, you guys have Nick Melillo explaining Connecticut broadleaf in the League of Nines, that video, which it's perfect because some of these guys are like, why can't I get League of Nines? Why can't I get League of Nines? This conspiracy, and some people joke around about it, but you watch that video and you're like, okay, that makes sense. I understand. I mean, we understand because we've been in the factory. We saw we saw how long this tobacco needs to ferment to be prepared so it can be a great cigar. But that's just an awesome video too.
Well, if you guys remember, if you remember when we were in DE2 together, we spread out. We had different different ears of the leaves and at different stages from 6 months to a year and a half to 2 years, the full gamut. And I mean, you guys could probably elaborate better than I can, but when you guys look at those leaves and you see the transitions, what were the transitions you guys were seeing?
I mean, the leaves just got darker. The
oily
aromas
as fuck.
Oily, right?
Yeah.
The aromas really opened up on it. I mean, you could taste. I mean, you can smell the aroma from that young tobacco, and then wait a couple years, and it's just like you're beginning to see it all, and it's awesome. I mean, and then after you're handling these, this Connecticut stock cut Habano and this broadleaf, the next thing you want to do is I got to smoke a Liga 9 or a T52. It's like I got to smoke it now. I've just been handling this stuff.
Yeah, no one really has a guts to use the top part of the Ligero leaf that's so thick and oily, fermented for over 2 years.
Yeah.
This is what the whole reason is no one doing it because nobody don't use the Ligero, especially those Habano leaf and then broadleaf is so thick and oily.
Yeah.
It takes so much time to ferment that things.
I mean, you can see it too on the cigars. You can see how dark it is, how oily it is. I mean, it's just beautiful leaves. I mean, we got to see some of it just in the sorting room. Nick was showing us, and it's beautiful tobacco.
Yeah, a lot of people trying to challenge, oh, this is painted or this and that. No, if you look at those things, it's really, this is a natural thing, and it takes long time.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and it goes back to the point about seeing it firsthand. Like, I mean, the tour was transparent. We've got to see anything, any question we asked was answered. There was no, oh, look over here, but while you're looking over here, why tell you something different, right? There was none of that. And yeah, I mean, Liga 9s and 9s and T52s, as great as they are, they take time. They're the Ligero, they're the top of the plant. It means it gets the most sun. It means they're the most damaged. So you have a very low yield on those leaves because they're getting sun. They get damaged, and there's only so many because it's the top part of the plant. And then when you ferment them, you lose a little bit. So when you're smoking a 9 T52, you got to think that, hey, this tobacco wasn't just grown yesterday, thrown on a fucking boat, and shipped up here to the States. Like, this shit's taking some time. So when you smoke it, fucking appreciate it. And if you don't, I'm just going to come there and bitch slap you because you don't know what's going on. There's my diatribe. Put that on the Drew Estate YouTube channel. That'll get some hits, I'm sure. It's crazy what I do.
Breaking it down. Logan, did you want to go to a segment? Is that what you wanted to do?
I want to go ahead and announce the winner. I know, and Seth, you need to pick your 5-pack winner. But got a lot of emails.
We haven't even announced mine yet.
I know, and you're going to do it right after I'm done. Is that I want to say thank you for all the emails we got. Got several emails, probably more than I'm going to want to clear out of my inbox. But I'm going to throw it. I randomly picked somebody, and Janice Clavins, congratulations. You will be the winner of my first 5-pack that I talked about. Congrats. Love your work on Reddit with your calligraphy. Good on you. So you'll be getting those in the mail probably in the next week or
That's
so.
The guy that does the Instagram calligraphy?
Yeah.
That guy's
fucking
awesome.
cool shit.
Is that a guy or a girl?
It's Janice.
Janice.
So I'm going to go
Janice, you said. Janice.
Giannis.
Be honest, we love that. I mean, one of the things that John Brook does a lot of the posting. Janice, I don't know if you're watching, it is awesome. We love seeing that from you. We love seeing your work.
So, big winner. So Seth, you're up. Pick your winner.
How am I going to pick it? I don't have the emails.
Have them email you.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. All right. So this is what we're going to do for my 5-pack. I'm doing a Herrera Esteli, the Bellicoso, or the Torpedo. Undercrown Corona Viva, a Liga 9 Toro, a T52 Toro, and a feral flying pig. So email me at seth@sethshumidor.com, and we will announce the winner when we get to our next segment. That's seth@sethshumidor.com. So email me up, and when we come back, we'll announce who that winner is. We get to go right there, Logan.
Yeah,
moving
we're
on.
going. We're moving on. We're trucking, brother.
We are, and I think I just got like 3 emails, so that's pretty quick.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get emails. I got like literally like 150 emails. So, anyways, so let me ask you guys this, Mario and Sam, morals. What you guys get to see a lot of people, a lot of different trips. You guys have been down there every time. I mean, we've talked about it kind of before the show, but you know, when you go down, is it the same old song and dance like, oh, I'm going down to Nicaragua, sweet? Or is it, when you go down, do you learn something new every time? Like, how does it feel to be on those type of trips and working for the company that is hosting the trips?
Sam?
All right. Well, from my end, as you guys can probably testify, Jonathan doesn't really keep things short when he's going into these explanations about what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, what's the reason behind it. I mean, it's really there's at no point in time is there really anything that's closed off to be talked about. And so for me, every time I go, I definitely pick something new up, just because of the sheer amount of time that we're spending in these rooms as we go room to room to room throughout the full process. And every time Jonathan likes to throw a new curveball into the whole mix that makes you question everything else that you had learned previously. And so for me, I always pick up something new, but I oftentimes actually end up a little bit even more confused than when I was down there before. And the only reason why I say that is confused as to how the whole puzzle works together. We talked a little bit about how many hands touch the products, and it's amazing to think about the amount of people that do touch it and how there's little. We even showed you guys the quality control rooms. You guys got to see where we're at, where we want to be, what our different internal goals are, the whole gamut. And for me, I haven't really been able to grasp yet exactly how such a big factory and all the parts and pieces and all the moving puzzles, how it all stays in sync. That for me, I'm on my quest to learn as I continue to go down there, for sure. So Mario, what do you think?
For me, I have a history of 4 or 5 years looking at the factory. It's pretty amazed that we are progressing every time, and also we also making changes on the way. So every time we go there, always something new,
Right.
and then that's really excite me. So it's nothing is same. Every time you go there, there's something new going on. It's that really excite me. So nothing same. So it's really never boring. Every time is new experience.
Yeah. What did you?
Good answer.
And Mario, have you seen DE2?
Yes.
You've probably seen the whole, yeah.
Yes.
And Sam, did you ever see it when it was being built?
I did not. My first time down there was for the inauguration of DE2. So I got to see a little bit. What I got to see is prior to all the moving parts move in, meaning before it was filled up, before we had all the guys down there working in and out, moving things around. I kind of got to see it more as just like an empty building aspect of it. So when I first saw it, I really didn't get to process what exactly was going on. So I actually feel like I got more out of it once I saw everything built into it, if that makes sense.
For me, it's pretty amazed me. I being most of the factory in different country, except Honduras. I being Cuba, I being Dominica, Nicaragua, most of the factory. I don't say which one is bad or good or anything like that, but it's pretty amazes me how we doing.
Right.
It's different from other factories. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I mean, we got to see 3 while we were down there. We went to Nika Sueña, we went to Oya, but they're all every factory I think is unique, and they all have their own characteristics. I just, honestly, I think Jersey just, really has its own. It really has its own vibe, and it really is just a vibe which connects with every single roller and everyone in the factory. So, and DE2, I mean, Sam, is Jesse? I thought you said Jesse. I don't know if you're joking around, but at the end of these tobacco rows, these shelves, which are like 20 plus feet high, is Jesse going to do artwork at the end of those?
Yeah, from my understanding, there's plans. Jesse's working really hard right now, like we talked about, for IPCPR and getting everything crazy for us. But once he's cooled down from the show, I think he's going to move over. If you guys saw in the beginning when we walked over to DE2, he had painted a
shipping container.
Correct. Yeah, a shipping container with all the rats, and he hasn't really gotten a chance to touch DE2. And if you guys remember from our subculture tour, one of Jesse's goals with DE1 is, since these people are spending a lot of time in there. I mean, if you think about how much time you spend at your office or at your job, I mean, you guys spend quite a lot of time, wrapped in the same 4 walls as you go through life. So what Jesse was talking about at DE1 is he tried to make it different for these guys, to have something to look at that's beautiful, that's special. So I'm interested to see what he does to DE2. I'm kind of on pins and needles to see which direction he takes, what artwork he goes on. And yeah, the main front of those tobacco storage shelves, we put up a nice chunk of wood. So I think Jesse's pretty much gonna go pretty ham.
We have interesting plan for that wall. So gonna be awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, when you said it, I was like, oh man, that's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
So Jesse just does incredible work, and it just really, throughout the factory everywhere, it's just cool to see all the work and everything that's done. And the other thing is, we saw it on the factory, and Jonathan Drew talked about it, is they built DE1. I mean, they built the factory, but they've you guys have grown so much as a company that you've had to move walls, you've had to take some walls down, and you can still see it. I mean, you can still see it throughout if you're looking at certain areas. There was once a wall here, but there's no longer a wall. And you guys are adding more rolling areas, correct? So you need to add a bigger, more area for quality control,
right?
And so forth. So I remember Pedro talking about that before I got distracted by this beautiful woman working in the acid area, and that's when I walked into a forklift. So she looked over. She looked over, and I was like, man, she's gorgeous, and she smiled, and I smiled, and then I walked into a forklift. So it's or a pallet of acid boxes. So luckily they didn't fall down or anything, but like that. But I mean, it's a growing. It's kind of changing and growing, and it's never complete. It's really just keep on
ever evolving.
Yeah.
And what about we got to walk through too. We don't do it on most trips, but we actually got to walk through on your trip the training area. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
That's a brand new.
That used to be, I think it was the cafeteria originally.
Huh.
No, originally used to be next to the Liga rolling room. There's a little conference room that was used to do a blending session.
Right.
Now we have totally dedicated blending room with a custom-made, table with the power outlet for the laptop and all that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was really cool. I mean, one thing that I learned on the trip that I didn't know, and I thought was pretty cool, is that I visited a few other cigar factories not on this trip, and when you start, shit, they put your feet in the fire. It's your rolling, and if you fuck up a cigar, whoops, you're not getting paid. Where I think it was very unique in the way that you guys actually dedicate time into your rollers, allowing them to screw up, letting them learn, almost much like a training period where you come out of it, then you're expected to do X. I mean, it was just very unique to actually see that, because from what I have seen, that's very rare. That you invest in your people, which obviously shows from some of the things you were saying about the turnover that you've had, which is pretty much non-existent, even though you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people working at Drew Estate DE1 and DE2. So I thought that was very interesting.
When they were deveining the wrapper leaves and getting those ready to be rolled, we were in that room, and I mean it was a warm room. I mean, first of all there was a lot of people in there, so you have to take that into consideration. There's a lot of people. It's kind of a closed off. There is air conditioning in that area, but just to kind of show how much Jonathan Drew and everyone cares, is we walked out of the room and Jonathan's, he's a friendly man. He's like, yo, Pedro, we got to get the AC fucking up in there. You got to turn that shit up in there. He's like, it's hot as hell in there. The people are hot. So, and Pedro and Henry, jumped on that just to make sure, it got cooler in there so that the employees were comfortable while they were working in there. So it's, Pedro said that Jonathan cares about every one of the employees, and you can see it by just providing transportation, the cafeteria, medical facilities. We even Pedro was talking about how bonuses at the end of the year and how that all works out for the employees.
Yep.
And because of that, the employees care about Drew Estate, and because when they care about that, they're going to give better work. And that's why production numbers can be high at Drew Estate, but quality behind those production numbers is still incredible.
You guys remember when we were towards the back end of DE1, where they were sorting a lot of the tobacco, and Jonathan told you guys the story about the guy spraying the tobacco, wetting it a little bit.
Yeah, that Indonesian tobacco that they were working on.
That binder, that Indonesian. Henry's
on.
There he is. He just got done with dinner. He messaged me. He was at dinner.
Henry.
Henry.
Henry, you got it. You're on mute, man.
There you go. Henry, what's up?
Henry.
Can you guys hear me now?
We
can hear you, brother.
You at the Subculture studio, seems like.
Yep.
Look at that. Oh.
Squirrel shit. Super secret.
There he is. He's showing Subculture Studio. For all of you joined, this is Henry. Henry,
Yep.
Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do, man?
So my name is Henry Pineda, and I've been working for Drew Estate 9 months, I guess. And Pedro, the guy who's in charge of Cigar Safari, he's been training me so I can help him out next year on the 2015 Cigar Safari season. So what else can I tell you guys?
That's pretty good. Were we your first Cigar Safari tour?
What?
Were we your first kind of like Cigar Safari tour? Were we your first group, or did you have some other people beforehand?
No, actually, this is my first year, man.
Yeah. No, you did a great job. I don't think Pedro needs to teach you anything, besides the fact that he tried to leave you at a curing barn.
With a mean man with a shotgun.
We're not even telling the story about how we got to the curing barn and how we went to the wrong one. We almost got in serious doo-doo.
This is true.
Is that I missed that. We went to the wrong curing barn?
Oh yeah, you don't remember? Henry jumped right out, man. We were going to this wrong barn, and these dudes with shotguns were looking at us, and Henry was like, "No, it's cool, it's cool."
Luckily, he knows Spanish, because we would have been screwed. I'd have got us all shot.
Just off the fact that you guys call their beer Tona, they wouldn't like that very much. It's Tonya, man.
Tonya.
Oh, the Tonya.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody fall in love with the Tonyas, man.
So, dude, Henry, just so you know, I put you on the hot seat before you came on the call. I told everybody that you were going to sing them some Macklemore.
only $20 in my pocket. Let me see.
Well, very cool. So, Seth, why don't you go ahead and you've probably gotten a lot of emails. Go ahead and pick your winner, and then I'll get my last winner cranking for this last segment here.
Yeah, man, it's ton. I'm going to pick a Sister of the Leaf. This one goes out to Michelle Bartlett. who on Twitter is at Smokin' Prof. So, Michelle, I got your information. Congratulations. You are the winner of my little 5-pack. I'm not sending you the hat that I have in the photo, though. I'm keeping my Drew Estate hat. That's my working hat. But I'll send you an email. Then when you get me your information, I'll get those cigars in the mail for you tomorrow. So, congratulations.
Congratulations, Michelle. And so with that, we've got one more 5-pack to give away. It is a 5-pack of Undercrown Corona Vivas straight from my stash. Probably the cigar that I smoked the most of and fell back in love with during Cigar Safari. I'll consider all the emails that I've already gotten, but if you haven't emailed me yet for that, just email me, logan@cigarfederation.com, Drew Estate Sampler, in the title with your name and address in the body of the email, and I'll pick a winner here in just a second. So, with that being said, we've got some audience questions, and unfortunately, they're not really addressed for me and Seth. They're actually more for you, Mario, and for you, Sam, and for you, Henry. So I'll take a couple of the ones that are pertinent, and we'll just kind of do a rapid fire session here and try to knock through some of these. Let's go with this one. Well, that one's not really applicable. So Mickey, Irate Bass, wants to know, or has asked, he goes, I heard there's some big-ass spiders down there at Drew Estate in Nicaragua. Can you tell me a little bit about those? Because I never saw those at all.
I never saw spiders down there. I mean, Henry, have you ever seen spiders?
Not at all. Actually,
I saw a big scorpion.
Yeah. I've gotten scorpions before.
John Brooke almost freaked out.
Yep. That was awesome.
John Brooke, freak out?
Let's just say that John Brooke was spending some time alone when he looked at his feet and saw a gigantic scorpion. And I've really never seen John Brooke run as fast as I've ever seen John Brooke run at that moment. So,
He was probably running away from the surfboard.
Well, that surfboard's here to stay. That's our surfboard now.
That's awesome. Based on you guys' experience going on the tour and being involved with Drew Estate, what do you guys think is the most difficult job in the factory?
wow, that's a good question.
Wow, that's a big question.
That's a good question for every single person. I want Sam, Mario, and Henry's on that one.
Man. Probably, I mean, yeah, you're good to go. Yeah. Probably the guys that work in the Pallone room, I think. I mean, they've got a lot on their plates. Things can go wrong really quickly. Things can also go right. But also, outside of Drew Estate, if you guys remember, when we were at the farm and Jonathan was talking about how guys work at the farm from the standpoint that they run over to just see nothing happen, you know, that for me would probably be the worst, only because I'm like instant gratification. I like to see things happen quickly. So running over to a farm just to see a plant not growing, you know, or you can't really see it grow, you know, right then and there, that's probably pretty difficult too. What about you guys? Mario?
I'm thinking.
What about you?
Back to Henry.
Henry.
I don't know. I guess I agree with what Sam said about the work that people do at the Pilons, because there is a lot of tobacco in the Pilon area. There is the investment is huge, and the thing is that the fermentation process is very delicate. You're dealing with temperature, humidity, and you have to be there like 24/7, making sure that the tobacco is right, you know, and not overcooked. So I would say that that's a very difficult and a very important job, as we as let me think about how to say it. I don't know if you, Sam, I want to say anything else about the.
Also, the peon is a really important thing. It's not only making sure that everything right. At the same time, you have to rebuild the peon from scratch every time that the temperature go up. That's a lot of work.
Right.
That's a lot of work. That's right, man.
Yeah, a lot of tobacco leaf in there.
What else you got for us, Logan?
I got a ton of other questions. This one is probably some hard-hitting journalism right here. And you're
Hold on,
probably
we
not
got,
going to
by
want
the
to
way,
answer it. What?
By the way, we got a special guest popping up probably behind Henry in about 2 seconds.
All right,
So,
deal. Well, I'll
another
ask the
special
question.
guest.
I'll ask the question really quick. What is the hardest and best part about working for Jonathan Drew? Is he a hard ass behind the scenes, or is he just a super cool guy that you love to work for? Give me the down low.
Yo!
Wow.
Bro, when it comes to high tech, man, I don't have no clue, man.
Did you just try to call me?
Apple guy
Pedro.
right here, you know?
Did you just try to call me?
He
Yeah, I was
called
trying
me
to
earlier, and I met.
Okay.
see what's going on, you know? So how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing very good, man. You know what I'm smoking right here. The Ligas.
Love it.
Well, you know, me and Henry, we would like to apologize to you guys because we couldn't be at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Because right now we have a group of guys that are retailers, you know, so we were having dinner and stuff like that. So we excuse ourselves, you know, to be part of this broadcasting live show. You know what I mean?
No problem, brother. Dude, we totally understand. It's cool, brother. So, Pedro, tell everyone that's watching right now. Pedro, tell everyone what you do for Drew Estate, and a little bit of background on yourself.
Well, let's start off with Drew Estate. What I do for Drew Estate, I am the director of Cigar Safari. I manage all the Cigar Safari tours that has been coming to Nicaragua since 2008. The whole purpose about Cigar Safari is to show everybody what Drew Estate is about, you know, show them the history, the culture, and the daily basis of how the people live here in Nicaragua, you know. Nowadays, we have been gaining a lot of great reputation in the international community where everybody come to Nicaragua. That's one of the tourism destinations in Latin America. So throughout these cigar safari tours, we take the people, you know, to Joya de Nicaragua Cigar Factory, which is the oldest cigar factory in Nicaragua. We take the people to Drew Estate Factory. We show them everything from A to Z. So everybody that has been coming to Cigar Safari, it is the lifetime experience. Cigar Safari is not just a simple trip to Nicaragua. It's the best experience that any cigar aficionado could ever have. And the whole idea, you know, is to promote Drew Estate, but at the same time promote Nicaragua big time. So I have been working for Drew Estate for 8 years. When I first started to work for Drew Estate, I was the operation manager assistant. I started to work for Drew Estate in 2006. Then in 2008, I was taking care of all the visitors that were coming to the factory, you know. I was the director of Cigar Safari in 2008. Then 2010, they promoted me to be the director of international sales. And last year, July, the company promoted me and moved me to the United States and be the factory spokesperson for Drew Estate Factory in the United States. So everything so far has been going so good. You know, I have John Henry right here, as you can see in the spotlight. You know? He's taking care of everybody right here while I am in the United States. So everybody that comes to Nicaragua, if they meet Henry, they're gonna be in good hands. You know, he's learning a lot of stuff about Drew Estate, a lot of stuff about the cigar industry. And the beautiful part is that we meet a lot of great people, nice people from all over the world, you know. And that's our story right there.
Pedro, you're going to start living with Sam soon.
Oh yeah, man.
What are you doing? Why?
Gonna be, yo, look at Sam. He is laughing like crazy. That's gonna be the perfect combination right there, you know. Sam, man, that guy right there,
You have
bro.
no idea what you're getting to.
Miami's
yeah?
not ready. Miami's not ready.
Oh
I
man.
can see Sam with that bourbon right there. He's up to no good right there, huh?
There's nothing good going on.
Oh man.
No, let me tell you something, man. Everybody that have been coming to Cigar Safari, it is great, man. I mean, for us, we're local, you know. Me and Henry, we're from here. We were born and raised here. Having the chance to meet every one of you guys, it is something that doesn't have no price, you know. So life is about building relationships, you know, uh, building friendship, and at the end of the day, you know better than me that the cigar industry is one of the best industry in the world because there is a lot of people that smoke cigar from different backgrounds, man. And at the end of the day, everything is about building relationship and having new friends, you know.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, you know, you've gotten promoted several times. Obviously, a testament to your hard work and your dedication to Drew Estate. How is it going to be, kind of leaving, kind of your baby Cigar Safari behind? I mean, are you going to miss it? I mean, obviously, you talked about passion and building relationships and interacting with people. How's that gonna be now that you are a corporate guy in the corporate office, rooming with Sam? How's that gonna work?
Well, let me tell you something. Your heart is where your home is. Yeah? My heart is in Nicaragua, is in my hometown, Esteli, and hopefully my boss will allow me to come to Nicaragua every year to taking care of the Cigar Safari tours, you know, showing everybody what's going on here in the factory, sharing with them the passion that we have. I mean, when I say the passion that we have, I'm not just highlight myself. I highlight every single one of them, people that work in the factory, to make sure that every cigar that leaves the factory are in the perfect are the good stuff, you know, for people to enjoy, for people to share. And at the end of the day, you know, life is about sharing moments, you know. So to me, so hopefully they are not gonna take away from me that responsibility, you know, to take care of the Cigar Safari. So I will be glad to work with John Henry right here, you know, and letting everybody know what's going on, you know.
Awesome. Did you pick Henry as an apprentice?
Well, let me tell you something about Henry. I know Henry for a long, long time. He grew up in my neighborhood, you know, and when I started to know Henry, you know, he was telling me all the stuff that he was trying to do to improve his life, you know, and everything that he was trying to do in order to be a better person. So when we were looking for somebody, the first person that comes out in my mind was Henry. So I said, Henry's gonna be just perfect. Henry is a local guy, you know. He has a lot of passion where he is from, you know. And he is the type of guy that has the desire of taking what we do here in Nicaragua to the next level. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you know, this business is about passion. You know, this business is about not sharing what you have heard from other people. It's about feeling what you feel in your heart and what you feel about letting everybody know what's going on right here. You know, so Henry is great, man, and I know that he is going to become a big, big star. You know.
You know, Pedro, Jonathan Drew told me that with you going to Miami, there is a possibility, and it's more likely that you will now have to start playing for the Miami basketball team versus Nicaragua.
That one, huh? Bro, let me tell you something. That took place, man, the second week of January when we did the sales meeting.
Mm-hmm.
These guys that work from Drew Estate, including my man Sam right there. I told everybody, you know, in my hometown, bro, we got the NBA in the house. So a lot of people show up to the game, man. So it was my team from Essex, you know, against the sales reps and everybody in Drew Estate that worked for Drew Estate in the United States. We did a big time. That was a very nice game, you know. Marvin Samuel, by the way, he was the coach. Yeah. he was Phil Jackson, you know, like he couldn't do anything, you know. He just could not help, you know, because we were having a lot of skills and we beat Drew State USA big time. So it was great, man. It was a very good experience.
Do you want to know why Fagan said that they got beat because Marvin didn't want to make Salim sit down?
Yeah, man. Well, you know, when it comes to this, when it comes to that game, the whole thing behind the game was not about who was the championship, even though that we have a trophy and stuff like that. It wasn't about. It was about, you know, sharing a very special moment, something that I will never forget. You know, something that people from my hometown will never forget.
It was very special.
The state that has been helping our community big time, you know, coming here to Esteli and having a basketball game. So everything was about, you know, having a good time, building relationships, you know, and it was good, man. By the way, Fabian, my man, Fabian right there, bro, he was a big star, man. That was you know, doing a lot of shots and all the stuff, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, it was great. We have a great time. And we got Kendall in the house.
Kendall!
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. Oh, let me introduce you Kendall right here. Show this guy what's up, man.
What's going on, my man?
What's going on?
All right, so Kendall is one of our special guests here in Drew State. Kendall owns one of the most coolest and one of the biggest cigar stores in the United States. What is the name of the cigar store, my friend?
Outlaw Cigar, baby.
You know.
Outlaw Cigars.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
Here's the
You go to
question.
Missouri, bro, that stuff is going to be unforgettable. You see what I'm saying?
Here's a question, Pedro. Pedro, I got a question for Kendall. How many Ford F-350s can you fit in Kendall's humidor? That's what I want to know. That was one of the coolest shops. If you guys are ever in Kendall's neck of the woods, I got to go to one of Kendall's events, and I got to say, I've never experienced anything like that. I mean, I've done a lot of South Florida cigar stores, and Kendall's got something serious going on. So if you're ever in his neck of the woods and you don't stop by, you're making an absolutely serious mistake.
This is Kendall. Where are your stores located? Tell us where they are at, man.
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, and Overland Park, Kansas.
There you go.
Got
My
8,000
neck of the woods.
Overland Park, Kansas, ready for you to have some fun.
Yo, can you tell me
Nice.
about the Cigar Safari team?
Oh my God, these guys kick ass. The best in the world right here, baby. You want to come down and experience the real thing? These are the boys right
Making jokes, you know what I mean?
Good deal.
Well, I'll let you guys get back to it. See you guys later.
Well,
Nice
thanks,
to meet
man.
you.
See ya.
Thank you for coming, bro.
I need to call Luis.
No, Luis, sorry, he's right there.
Yeah, oh, there he is. Adios.
All right.
I thought they were all just leaving with the camera rolling. I was like, there
I
you
thought
go.
they were just going out. So let me get back to a couple of these questions here because we're getting up on the top of the hour. We've had you guys here for quite a while. So let's go. Let me look here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, there's a lot of fucking questions here. What is, if you guys can share this, in terms of a quality roll, and we've kind of covered this a little bit, but what is typical production for a pair in the cigar factory per day?
Well, it depends, you know. It depends to the type of cigar that the people are making. Like for a daily production, let's put in a Robusto sag, which is the most popular sag in the United States when it comes to cigar. Typical roller, a pair of roller can make between 400 to 500 cigars per day. Now, when it comes to Liga Privada, as you already know, that's a very exclusive cigar when it comes to the production. And this is because when we are fermenting the tobacco in DP lumps, and I'm talking about the broadleaf wrapper that we buy from Connecticut and the Habano wrapper that we buy from Connecticut as well, when we buy that tobacco straight from the cure barns. So when we get that tobacco to the fermentation process, it takes between 2 years and 3 years to ferment. So when we only have 15 rollers, and they have already assigned to make 200 cigars. They cannot make more than that because when it comes to Liga, everything is based in quality, not in quantities. You know what I mean? And that's why not Liga Priva is not available, in the United States as everybody will wish. Because when it comes to Liga, that's one of the most pleasant cigar that Drew Street have ever made. And
So it basically depends based on the quality and then the type. So I mean, obviously, you would probably make less T52 Toros versus underground flying pigs, just because of the complexity of the rolling process for a pig versus just a straight Toro. So
Also, like a Lancero also is a less quantity.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
Lancero, as Mario said, is one of the most difficult cigar to make, especially when you're talking about Lancero like L40. It is like putting very thick tobaccos, especially when it comes to the blend that we use for Serie Unico, and make them a Lancero, and therefore, the amount of production that we're gonna make in the production floor in Drew Estate is gonna be less compared to other Lanceros that we make for the market.
I think I remember, when you guys were talking the upcoming Herrera Esteli Lancero, I thought Willie said they were making 75 a day.
Right.
Yeah, which is,
Wow.
I mean, you can see, but we smoked the pre-release down there. I mean, it's an incredible cigar, but you can see the amazing construction that goes into that. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. Here's a great.
Highlight that point, man.
What else you got, Logan?
No, I got a couple other questions here. Next question's from Explosive Donut. Is I hear a lot about the blending seminars that people participate in during Cigar Safari. If someone comes down and doesn't know anything or enough about the different leaves of tobacco, their characteristics, what do they actually get out of blending their own cigar? And do they get any help from different people like Nick or Willie during the blending process?
Oh yeah, everybody, man. When we do the blending section, I consider the cigar blending section as the highlight of Cigar Safari. A lot of people like to smoke cigars. People that smoke this cigar and that cigar. But when you create something personal, that stuff right there doesn't have something to compare with. Because
Also,
right there, that's really
Also, we're giving out the beautiful brochure that explains everything.
Oh yeah,
You can bring it home.
Well,
Yeah.
Pedro starts off. For you guys that we didn't really film a lot of the blending sessions from the standpoint on YouTube and put it in depth. But Pedro and Henry, they start out by going through leaf by leaf by leaf. It's almost like like you're baking a cake from the standpoint that you've got all these different ingredients. So Pedro takes everybody through the process of showing them the different tobaccos. Then he actually lights them on fire, lets you smell the difference between each one as you go through. And then Willie's oftentimes on a lot of the trips. And Willie's a real great, I think Willie's cigar speaks for itself. Willie's been known to throw in a little bit of advice as to what to go, what to do, why to do it. So there's no shortage of help when it comes to making it happen.
yeah, I know Logan, I can speak. I know Henry, Pedro were both there. Jonathan Drew was in there with us. Willie Herrera was in there. I know Willie looked over my blend, and he provided some suggestions of what he thought should be done to make it a better blend. It's very, you're a newcomer, and they're there to help you, and you learn a lot with it, and it's an incredible experience. You won't forget it, and I look forward to smoking my blend and seeing where it is.
smoking, man.
I haven't smoked it yet, Pedro. I gotta let it chill, man.
You gotta let it chill, Pedro.
You gotta see
It's
how
only been 30 days.
Developed, over the time, and that's the amazing part about it, When we create the blend, there are blends that are extremely delicious, blends that we said, damn, man, we should launch these in the market, There are other blends that are okay. There are other blends that are not smokable at all. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know.
I don't know about the Sam's Matafina blend.
One thing I can tell you is that in Drew Estate we have a lot of variety of tobacco, and when it comes to blend cigars, as you already know, we got cigar for every different palate, and just for the fact that we have cigar for every different palate in the market, that means that we have a lot of tobacco in inventory for people to do something good. When it comes to the tobacco that we have in Drew Estate factory, we have tobacco, most of the tobacco that we use in the filter come from Nicaragua, Jalapa, Esteli, Condega, Ometepe. We use a little bit of tobacco from Honduras, Dominican Republic. When it comes to the grapper, we are the #1 importer tobacco when it comes to Nicaragua. We import tobacco. I put it in this way. I'm going to break down that thing for you right there. Connecticut grapper from Ecuador, the Habano grapper from Ecuador, the Brazilian Maduro grapper from Brazil, the San Andres Maduro wrapper from Mexico, the Sumatra wrapper from Indonesia, the Sumatra wrapper from Cameroon, the Kentucky Fire Cure from Kentucky, the Broadleaf from the state of Connecticut, and the Habano from the state of Connecticut as well. At the end of the day, when it comes to blending cigar, it's about trying something new. And when you try something new, it's about being innovative. Innovative brings risk. And one thing that you gotta do is follow your heart and follow your passion, because at the end of the day, nobody's wrong, nobody's right. The only judge will be the market. If the people love it, we're gonna be making a lot of cigars of the blend that we make.
Yeah, we are a very unique company that have a variety of products from acid, tobacco especial, and all the traditional, premium cigars, all kind of things. So that's really is a unique company that have all variety of tobacco from all over the world.
Right.
Yeah, you guys get into everything. I mean, you're in every bubble, and it's incredible.
Absolutely. So we're gonna wrap it up here, but want to leave everyone with a final question. Want everyone, Sam, Mario, Pedro, and Andre to take this question. Is that a lot of people, we had several hundred people watching live tonight. Had a lot of great questions, learned a lot about our experience, what we went through Cigar Safari. If you could with parting words, what would be your reason to tell someone to come on Cigar Safari? Starting with Sam. If somebody's never been, why should they come?
You should go if you want to really see how things are done from an open perspective, open communication between all parties there. Ask any question. There's no question that's a stupid question. But also it arms you for the armchair jockeys that you might encounter in cigar stores that might tell you how things are done, and that are completely off base or untrue or not factual. And it also gives you a lot of insight as to exactly what we do, why we do it, and why we all believe that our products are second to none. That they're all great, no matter which one you enjoy the most. So with that, I would say, just learning. More than anything else, just keep learning. And that's what you can accomplish on Cigar Safari.
What about you, Mario?
I think the best thing is really you can experience the whole culture of the Drew Estate. At the same time, you can feel the passion from everywhere. So how much passion we put into the cigar from different aspects on, from packaging or farming or making cigar or the whole shebang, subculture studio, you can feel the all passion from everybody in our factory. That's probably the best thing you can experience, and then you understand our culture.
Awesome. Pedro, what about you?
I'm gonna give the microphone to Henry. Let's do it, Henry.
Oh, on the spot, Henry.
I'm gonna be the last to say something. All right.
So I guess I strongly invite people to come to Cigar Safari because this is a really nice opportunity to learn about Nicaragua, also about about the cigar industry, because we don't only talk about Jew Estate all the time. We talk about other people's businesses. We talk about Patron, AJ's, my father's, how they do it and how we do it at Jew Estate. But also, if you want to experience the food in Nicaragua, smoked cigars that are really hard to find in the market in the States, you should come and try those cigars.
Yo, somebody's asking, John Rayner is asking to tell these people about the cake. What is going on with that cake? I know that John Rayner is laughing right now.
The surgeon.
Get Henry to what's going on with the cake? Tell these people what's going on with the cake, bro.
So we were having a group, and Jonathan was here, and then I was trying to tell people, hey, we got chocolate cake. You should, guys, if you want cake, guys. So I didn't know how to say, hey guys, we got some dessert, we got chocolate cake. So.
No, that was good, man. That was nice. So I have a lot of funny story as well, but probably we don't have the time right now to share the funny story, crazy story that I have experienced in the cigar safari. But let me tell you something, man. One thing that I can tell you is this.
You can learn to dance to
Yes. It comes to cigar safari. We take this stuff to a whole different definition what a cigar safari tour is. And Sang is doing something like this, Right there, man, cigar safari, I can tell you from my whole perspective as a Nicaraguan. Bringing people from other countries, coming to my hometown, seeing what we make. I'm not just talking about Drew Estate. I'm talking about every single big cigar factory in SD, all the way to a small cigar factory in my hometown. When you come to when you come to a cigar factory, everybody enjoys to smoke a cigar, Everybody say, oh, I'm smoking this, I'm smoking that. Nowadays with the social media, everybody's posting pictures, everybody's doing their comments. A lot of bloggers are doing the review and stuff like that, but let me tell you something. When it comes to make a cigar, I describe the cigar like this way. The filler in the cigar is the soul in the heart, while the grapper is the face of Miss Universe. See what I'm saying? At the end of the day, everything has to combine very good in order to create something unforgettable. Because at the end of the day, smoking a cigar is a very close experience. It is the most intimate experience, if you would put it that way, that anybody could ever have, Because when you smoke a cigar, especially if the cigar is good, you have the chance to share it with other people while you're smoking. Now, if you come to Nicaragua to Cigar Safari, now you are talking a whole different language, Because people that have been smoking cigar for many years and have never had the chance to come to a cigar factory and see how everything takes place from A to Z, they are amazed. And the great thing about it is that you have a whole different appreciation when you smoke a cigar once you come back to the United States. How we do here in the Cigar Safari, our Cigar Safari it goes first class from the moment that you arrive at our airport. We take you guys, if this is like a tourist, we take people to the tourism part, This year, we were taking people from sea to smoke. That means that we were taking people to the tobacco farms, we were taking people to the Joya Nicaragua factory, we were taking people to the Drew Estate factory. At the end of the day, you are overwhelming with a lot of information, People that, it's not the same thing when you read in magazines, when you see it with your own eyes and you see how much does it take to make a cigar. There's a lot of people that ask the question, hey, how many cigars have been touched? How many hands has been touching this cigar that we make? Some people will say 100, other people will say 200, other people will say 300. But let me tell you something, man. You know the real answer? The real answer is this. How many hands has touched this cigar that we truly enjoy? Only God knows. Because if you put in this perspective, when you are working in the tobacco sea, right in the tobacco fields, when you are working transplanting the baby plants into the tobacco fields, when you are priming all those leaves, when you are bringing all those leaves to the cure barn, when you are, then after that you are fermenting that tobacco in the pilons, you are rotating those pilons over and over and over again. Then you bring that tobacco that has been already fermented to the production floor. How many people have been touching the cigar that you made, how the supervisor, the quality control department, the packaging department, until the moment that the cigar gets to the shelf is colorless, you see what I'm saying? And that's the beauty behind it. And when it comes to Cigar Safari, people learn all that stuff, but at the same time, they see how beautiful our country. I mean, Henry and I, our country, how beautiful our country is. Because nowadays, Nicaragua has become the tourism destination for the worldwide community, you know what I mean? Every January, big news resort like New York Times Magazine, Los Angeles Magazine, CNN, all the stuff, they came out with the top 10 places to go in 2013, 14, 15, and you can go on and on and on. And this year we got the 3rd place in Nicaragua. You know, it was amazing, man. Because back in the days, in the 80s, what was going on in Nicaragua, it was like coming to Nicaragua in the 80s wasn't a good idea, you know? You wouldn't get shot easily, you know what I mean? But coming to Nicaragua nowadays, we got celebrities from the United States like Morgan Freeman, you know, Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. They were just here a month ago, you know, and that right there tells you that Nicaragua is the unrevealed secret, you know. And I know that there are good days, better days coming to Esteli, but one thing that I can tell you is this: my hometown depends big time for the tobacco industry. You got 30,000 people that work in the tobacco industry, people that work in the tobacco fields, people that work in the cigar factories, man. And just for the fact that we have the industry, people can make their living a decent living. You know what I mean? So they can afford to pay the bills, you know, to have a decent standard of life. And that has been thanks to you guys, everybody that is listen to this conversation, you know, everybody that is seeing it online. Thanks to you guys, you know, that's bottom line right there. Without the tobacco industry, Esteli wouldn't be a ghost town. So we have to support, you know, we have to support the industry big time, man, making sure that the people that create new laws, you know, and regulation, and they don't have no clue what they are doing, but you know what's going on. So you know what the consequences are going to be. You know, people that own cigar store all across the United States, people that own cigar store all around the world. You're talking about family business, you know. It's mama and papa, you know, business, and then you got the son, then he got the grandson that is running the cigar store, you know. And how many stories, how many great moments has been shared in those places, in the cigar store, in the lounge, you know. You can call it wherever you want. But at the end of the day, you know, they are going to feel the impact, and we're going to feel the impact the next day. So I encourage everybody to support the cigar industry, you know. Nowadays, there is a lot of threats that are going on. So if we get together, one voice doesn't get hurt. But you have a lot of people in one single group and fighting for our own right to smoke. That will be a whole different conversation. So I would like to thank everybody. I would like to thank Seth and everybody that put this show together. You know, it has been great to share this story with you guys. We are here in Nicaragua, we know, but we feel together as a family, you know. So thank you guys. Thank you for your support. And we're going to try to do our best, and we're still doing our best. And we are doing our best right now to provide you the best cigar that you can ever have.
Thank you, Pedro.
Wow. I'm just gonna cut out that section and just post that, because that was just amazing. So I mean, I don't think we can top that. So with that being said, you know, just appreciate everyone who came out. Sam, Mario, Pedro, Henry, thanks for coming out. Seth and I had a great time setting this up, being able to share with the several hundred listeners and watchers that we've had tonight. So if you haven't check out the video. Just really, I mean, can't say enough about the trip and the hospitality. It's something that you have to definitely do. It's a bucket list type trip. It's something you can't miss out on. You can always check out Drew Estate. They're Drew Estate Cigar pretty much across the entire Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. And with that being said, everyone, have a great night. Thanks for checking us out, and see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.
All right, have a good night, fellas.
Good night, buddies.
Adios.
Adios.